vehicles. I drove twice, 5 days. And one of them is a very nice sports car, it's a fun drive, but you can't put much in the sports car. And then the other one is an SUV, so I filled it as much as I could. So I was in Canada 10 days ago, I still have some stuff in my office, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to keep or whatever, and I was going through things. And I've only showed this to one other group, it was this morning. So this is a book that I found, that I kept, because when I was young, I wanted to be rich. I just liked money. Who else was young when they said, I want to be rich? So I was a little bit different than most kids when it came to money. Once I had that thought in my mind that I wanted to be rich, I did some really unique things when I look back. So one of them is this book. I started to write down all different investments that I did when I was 10 years old. So it's my investment book. And all my investments, I would write down the year I bought them, what kind of returns I got, and then on the other side of the page, I would talk about what I learned from the investments. So the first one, it was 1980. I was buying stocks in the stock exchange. So it's just 10 years old. And I've just always enjoyed money. And my parents didn't have any money, really, but they were always supportive, very good parents. But I wanted to show you this book. It's kind of funny when I look back and find this. And then as I got older, I had more investments. I bought more stocks, silver bars. Silver? What do you say silver is? So it kind of brought back a lot of memories, and really, this proves it as well. I'm getting old. A long time ago. So it was kind of, for me, it was special. So I've been dealing with money for a long time. But what I see is so many people that want to be rich when they're younger, but they don't achieve their goals. So why is it that almost everybody, when they're smaller, wants to be rich, but when we're older, most people are not rich? Why?
Lack of mentoring.
Lack of mentoring? Okay, good. I appreciate the answer, so I'm going to give you one of Spencer's books for free. Yes?
Un entrenamiento financiero.
Financial education.
Financial education.
He said financial.
And how old are you?
I'm 22, but he said that.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you for the translation. You look young, so you're 22. Obviously, you graduated from high school a few years ago. Did they teach you anything about money in high school?
Not really.
Do they teach our kids anything about money in school?
No.
Is there anybody in high school here today? Did we skip it? High school? And okay. High school. Okay. How old are you? How old? 23, not high school. How old? 16? 18? Can you two come with me? Some books. 16 and 18. Cool. Do they teach you anything about money in school? No. Good. Thank you for coming. Thank you for skipping school. So to me, that's a crime. In Canada, Mexico, wherever I speak, Germany, Poland, South America, it's everywhere the same. They don't teach our kids anything about money in school. And the reason I started coming to Mexico 5 years ago, I was invited to speak to a group of entrepreneurs. And I really fell in love with the Mexican spirit. It's just amazing when I travel, especially through Mexico City, you see how hard people work, even in travel. People work very hard outdoors, in the heat, and they don't make much money overall. So I really fell in love with that spirit. Canadians are nice people. Some of them are lazy. I don't see lazy people in Mexico. I really don't. The best service ever. So I really like the spirit of people, but it's still it's very disheartening to see somebody work so hard for so long, for so many years, and they're not rich. But everybody could be rich no matter how much money you make if you just get your money working for you. But very few people have this work for them. And a lot of it is the programming in our brains. And somebody said, lack of mentorship. They don't teach it in school. Your parents aren't rich, so therefore you will probably not be rich. So today what I'm here to do is just maybe give you a different perspective, give you some different ways to think. And some of them, to some people, might be controversial. You may disagree, which is okay. But what I'm going to share with you are many of the lessons I've learned when I was very young, lessons I've learned the hard way, and then many of the lessons are going to be lessons I learned with my mentor, Robert Kiyosaki, for the last 18 years. So this gentleman, I want to talk with him for a second because he's very important to me. And the first time I heard him speak was in 2001. It was about a month after I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I went down to the United States to listen to Robert speak, and I also spent $10,000 to enroll in a 2-day program that would allow me to teach his philosophies, and to also teach the cash flow game. So he'll show you a picture of the cash flow game. There's the game. So Robert created that game, and he actually wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Originally, this was the brochure for the game. It's a very big brochure. That was his original intent. So this game allows you to invest in properties, the stock market, businesses, network with people, all in a safe format of a game. Anybody likes to play games. But what we would rather have you do is learn and study first before putting real money into deals. We really want you to get educated first. So the reason I started this event company with Spencer was I was getting a little bit bored in Capital and get tired of the beach and the ocean and kayaking. And he asked me to come to do events, and next thing you know it, like a few months later, we have 35,000 people that have now registered for these events. So there's obviously a very big demand in Mexico. And I did the same thing in Canada for 10 years before I retired. So it's good to be back. And I do want to explain a little bit more about who he is, because he's a very generous individual. Just out of curiosity, how many people have read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Please. How many have not? Tell Robert there's a few customers still. Now, a very quick story with Robert. When I first took that program for $10,000 to then teach the game, it was 2 days. $10,000 US plus my flight hotel. It was a lot of money. In 2001, for me, it was a lot of money. And the 2 days were a waste of time. I didn't learn anything. 200 people attended the training. And all you had to do after the 2 days was go back to your home city and play the game. You'd have to get a video camera to video the game, and then send it to Rich Dad. That was all you had to do. So 200 people took the same training. Guess how many people did the video? Just step one. Guess how many? What percentage? 10%. So that's the first lesson if you're taking notes. People paid $10,000 US plus expenses, and only 10% even did the first step. That's it. So what I want to share with you is lesson number one. It's not difficult to get rich. All you need to do are things that nobody else will do. And attending this event is the example. So we had 2,500 people register for the event, and about 600 show up. So only a quarter show up, which is okay. I'm still happy. And now how many of you asked your friends or told your family you were coming, and they thought you were a little bit over? Like, what do you have to lose? Because everybody in this room is here for one word. In English, it's called change. There's something you want to change. We don't teach money in school. Most people don't have a lot of money, and yet all your friends, most of them are broke, say don't go. So if you want to get rich, do things nobody else will do, and then you need to also change your friends. Maybe your spouse. It's up to you. Okay, getting back to this book. I'll explain very quickly, just to review, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but before I do so, I want to explain more about who he is as a person. Because most people that would tell me who they think Robert Kiyosaki is, they always talk about money. And with Robert, I've known him for almost 2 decades. We never talk or care about money. Like, never. He doesn't care about money. All Robert cares about, when it comes to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is to play the cash flow game. That's all he cares about. If you play that game, you're going to learn things. That's the key. He wants you to learn in a safe environment where you can't lose real money. That's all he cares about. Because it's like dropping a pebble into the lake. You have all these ripple effects. By playing that game, something will happen that will take you down the road. A different path. It's the process he wants you to go through. You're going to meet somebody at this event that you didn't know. You're going to learn something maybe. Maybe you're going to learn about a new book to read. There's something you're going to do because you're here to take action. So it's all Robert cares about, honestly. And I'll prove it. So my first event, after the $10,000, I go back to Edmonton. I rent a room for 60 people. I tell everybody that I know about this event I'm going to do to have my cash flow game. I'm going to video the game. 60 seats. And only 4 people show up. My wife wasn't happy. $10,000 US. And then I did an event and lost more money. Actually, 3 people showed up. The 4th was my friend Richie, who came for the free food. This is a true story. Okay? So, I did the event, I sent the video to Rich Dad, and from what I was told, I was the only one approved on the first try. Okay? 19 other people tried. Some became facilitators for a little bit of time. But after 2 years, I was the only one in the world still doing events. And it went from 4 people to then I went to Calgary, we had 8 people. In Vancouver, I had 9. And a couple years later, I had the world's largest game ever. In Toronto, it was 800 people. So at that time, Robert finally started to understand who I was. Because he was busy. He was traveling the world. He was on Oprah. He was speaking to 25,000 people at once. So when I had the 800-person game, that really touched his heart. Because that's all he really wants people to do is play the game. So he started to invite me to some of his personal meetings. And every year I would still go to the meetings that he would have, that you would have to pay $5,000 to go to. And every time I would go to Phoenix to do a 3-day event with Robert, I would learn. I would come back to Canada, and I would apply it. And the more that I studied, the more money I would make in my life. And I was never trying to make money. What Robert taught me was just do things for the right reasons. So I thought, if I play the game Robert created, and do the right things, money will come to my life. And it's hard to think that way when you don't have any money. But eventually, it came true. So ever since then, obviously, pretty much whatever he says, I believe and try. Now, the world record was 800 people in Toronto. But since I started coming to Mexico 5 years ago, some people challenged me to do another one, to do bigger. So I like challenges. I thought I will do one last game and then I'm going to retire. So I was thinking about 1,000 people. Okay? And we were going to hold the event in Puebla. We did hold the event in Puebla. 1,000 people. That's a lot of people. And I had Spencer was one of the partners that helped fill the room. And everybody said, well, ask Robert to come. Ask Robert to come. I said, no, I don't ask Robert things. Because everybody asks Robert things. Everybody wants to take his time. So I said, what I'll do is I'll phone him and ask him to do, like a video conference so people can see him live when we're doing the game, but I don't want to ask from Robert. He's always been very good to me. So I phoned Robert up 6 months before the event and said, Robert, I'm going to do another world record event, like I did in Toronto. He goes, great. Of course I'll support you. Of course I will phone in for you. Absolutely. He said, how many days are you going to do the event for? I said, just one. He said, well, you should do two. I said, no, just one's enough, Robert. It's a lot of work. It's hard to get people in rooms. We're tired. And Robert's very persuasive. So basically, Robert said, Darren, you're doing 2 days. And if you do 2 days, then I will come for you to do the event with you. So how do you say no? So we didn't have 1,000 people show up. We had 2,542. So we smashed the world record in Mexico. It was a very good weekend. And I was actually very sick that weekend. So Robert literally did the whole event. 2 days. We played the cash flow game instead of record. Now, Robert charges to speak $100,000 for 1 hour. 2 days, that's a lot of hours. But how much do you think he charged me to come to Puebla? Anybody? Zero. Zero. I have never given him money to use his Rich Dad brand. He's never given me money to host cash flow games throughout the world. We've had a handshake since 2001. I get a little emotional sometimes when I say that because it's so rare in this world to just have integrity. But I mean, how blessed am I to be able to use the Rich Dad brand for all these years for free? And then he even comes to events for free, and he even buys his own plane ticket. Because he knows that event, it was like throwing the pebble into the lake for 2,542 people. And many people would buy a book or buy the game or just change their lives and share with other people more financial education. So I've always been a big believer and supporter of Robert because he's the most generous man I know. He really truly is. So if you ever had a chance to see him, I would suggest you go see him. He's an amazing person in real life, but also on stage he's very, very good. So my mission with Spencer at the Freedom Investment Club Mexico is we want to believe in the same. Do the right things for the right reasons. So these events are free. They're always going to be free. So everybody in Mexico will attend, not just people with money. Now we appreciate the VIPs, but we don't make you buy a ticket. So we're always going to have free events. Some of the events we're going to have are only for our members, but we always want to keep the doors open to everybody that wants to learn. Okay? So hopefully that's a little bit of background on how I got to meet Robert, a little bit about his philosophies and how I've believed in them and do the same. Let me just get into the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because really what I want to share with you is there's two different ways of thinking about money when it comes to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's the Rich Dad way, there's the Poor Dad way. Robert Kiyosaki was raised with poor dad mentality. His parents basically said, if you want to be rich, you need to go to school, get good grades, get into university, so you get a safe, secure job, invest for the long run, pay off your house, and hope the government will give you a pension. That's what he was told ever since he was small. Now, his dad was very intelligent. He became the superintendent of the entire state of Hawaii's education system. I think he had a PhD at age 21. So he was the top teacher of all teachers in Hawaii. So very smart, made good money, good benefits. Robert's mother was a nurse. Again, very smart. Robert's mom would always say to Robert, "You should be a doctor." Because they make good money. So Robert would see his mom and dad fighting about money all the time. The more money they made, the more they fought about money. They were never rich. So Robert says, why should I listen to my parents tell me how to be rich when they're not rich? And a couple of years ago, I was with Robert in Argentina, and he said, those are fake teachers. And there's a lot of fake teachers in this world, in my opinion. So I promise you, everything I ever say if I'm on stage, I've done it, or I won't say it. Okay? There's too many teachers that tell you something, they don't do it. It's like the sex therapist who's a virgin. So the poor dad was his own parents. And again, not that they're bad people, they just didn't understand how money worked. They were truly believing if you want to be rich, you need to go to school, get good grades, work hard, go to university, etc. Now Robert was very fortunate to have a mentor in his life. He was his best friend's father. And he was the rich dad in the book. Now he dropped out of school in grade 8. Most people would think he would be a failure. Robert's rich dad, took over a small business, grew it into a very large business, made lots of money, and then invested in a tremendous amount of real estate on Waikiki Beach in Hawaii. He became one of the richest men in Hawaii. And Robert's rich dad taught him lessons that were the exact opposite of his parents. Don't get a job, hire people. Don't pay off your house, buy real estate, your properties. Don't save your money, invest in your own businesses to grow it. Exactly the opposite. So I'm going to go over one of the largest binary lessons I learned from Roberts. Just if anybody have any pesos and coins I can borrow? What is this? That's more like a peso. Silver. I'm still looking at pesos. Pesos in the room? Sure, how much is one? Whole purse. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Whole purse. Wow. More. Silver. Okay, so Robert says that the most important lesson an entrepreneur needs to understand is the art of raising capital. Number one reason, number one lesson, most important, you have to know how to raise capital. Because if you have a business and it's growing, most business owners are not out of money because their business is growing so quickly, it's called cash flow shortage. That's why most businesses go under. So years ago, I learned that lesson, and I raised over $500 million. So Robert, because again, he's very demanding, he told me one day, he didn't ask me, he told me, you're going to write a book. I said, okay. He goes, you raise so much money, people have to know how to raise capital. He said, you're going to write a book, and you're going to call it The Art of Raising Capital. I did. So there's a lot of people in this room that can use money to grow their business or buy real estate, but they can't because they don't know the skill. So for all the people that just gave me all this money, thank you. All I did was ask. How many people would need more money for their business to grow? Oh, look. And if you go to the banks, most times they're going to say no. So what I'm going to share with you today is how to get people to say yes. And it's going to help out your business. It's also going to help out Mexico's economy. So the art of raising capital is a very important skill. Now, why I wanted to have these pesos, this is just too much. Okay, and I'll give it all back after. Thank you, that was very nice. What I want to share with you is a very important lesson for me, at least. There's always two sides of the coin. There's rich dad, one side, there's poor dad, the other. There's up and down, hot and cold. I'll give you another example. There's always going to be an opposite. So how many people voted for your new president in Mexico? New president? How many did not? How did he get elected? So I always use that example because no matter what, you're always going to have two sides. And I don't personally care about politics anymore, because what Robert taught me was, I want to live on the edge. I want to see both sides. So I don't care about politics anymore. It doesn't bother me who, Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. Because I can live on the edge. And now that I have financial information, I can make money no matter any circumstance in the world. I'm confident I can do that. Okay? I don't think there's risk. I think it's education. So if I live on the edge, I can always see people's perspectives. Okay? So that was the greatest lesson. There's always two sides. So what I'm going to share with you today is primarily my side on how I think you can make more money if that's what you want. And you're going to have school teachers with another side. So what I'm going to do today, as I do with these events, is focus only on one thing. I want you to leave this room with a different or larger thought process, mindset. So this is a container that holds all of your beliefs when it comes to money. So today, many of you came in thinking about the poor dad way of making money. Go to school, work hard, get good grades, go to university. That's your process. I call that your context. Belief systems are context. Now that I live in Mexico, my Spanish is so good, context. Spencer calls me Waylon. Good, bad? So all the money you have right now fits in your context. So my goal is to have you have a larger context so you can leave here and more money can fit into your life. Soon after I read this book, when I read this book, I owned 12 properties. How many people would like to own 12 properties? Not bad. I thought I was pretty good. When I first met Robert, I thought, hey, I've got 12 properties. I'm good. I'm smart. Then I met Ken McElroy, and Ken, at the time, he's a rich advisor and a very, very good friend. This is how many he owned back in 2001. 4,000. So when I met Ken, I felt very small. My contexto was poquito compared to Ken. I did not think I could ever own 4,000. I didn't believe it. It wasn't even in here at all. It was like, no, you cannot own 4,000. I don't know how. And that was really important as well, because if that's the way you think, then you're correct. If you're thinking, I can't own 12 properties, then you won't. If you're thinking you can't be rich, then you won't. So a lot of just changing your thinking. My sister does not think she can be rich. She just doesn't, no matter what she asks me, she does not believe she can be rich. And she's not. She's paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. So I want to make sure we leave here, this is a little bit bigger, so more money fits in your life. I hired Ken McElroy back in the early 2000s, and he came to Canada, and he charged me $5,000 each day. So the first day we would do a seminar with a whole bunch of people, and the second day I would pay him an extra $5,000, and it would just be to hang out with me. That's it. All day with Ken. And as I did that for a few years in a row, and I met in Phoenix at the advisor events, met other people, my context grew substantially. And I started to realize I could own 4,000 properties if I could use somebody else's money. So when I got that lesson, I started raising hundreds of millions of dollars. And then by 2010, I owned this. 5,000. A B. Not really. I bought 5,000. All the money I bought them with, I gave to Ken. So today, Ken owns. So it's all through study and changing my friends to some degree. I just have more in common with him and the other advisors. I have more in common with him than my sister. My sister's nice, but I don't have anything in common with her. But these guys are my friends. So we hang out with a different set of people that have larger context than you. It's literally impossible not to get more money in your life. So when I suggest you change your friends, I'm not kidding. If you want more money in your life, start hanging out with people that think bigger than you. That's what I did. Ken owned 4,000. I hung out with him. Every time I would go listen to Robert and spend $5,000, my company would grow. Do you have the profit list, please? So in Canada, there's over 1 million businesses. And every year they rank them for the profit and the growth. And 3 years in a row, my company was in that magazine. Top 100 in Canada. Again, I attribute to a great team, but just study. The more I study, the more money I make. So today, what we'd like to share with you is the importance of studying. I'm going to show you some steps on what you can do to have more money in your life, but most of it falls back on getting education. Okay? Don't be in a rush. Just get education. And there's many, many smart people in this room. So I always encourage you to network. I'm going to give you a chance to do that in a minute. As well as after the event, stick around, meet other people, exchange business cards, have a coffee or so with people. Because all the answers you want, they're in this room, without me. There's like a lot of smart people here. I met really good people when I would go to the Rich Dad events. So my goal is, again, to have you leave here with a larger context. Now, we've got a gift. Mariana, Alvaro, the entire team, Bora, there's many, many people that put this event on. We do 3 events in one day. I start very early. Now that I'm Mexican, I have to work harder. So I started we did a seminar at 8:30 in the morning. I don't usually get up till 10. So we work very hard. But they work a lot harder than me. Okay? So they've got a very special gift for you that I'm going to give to you. But first of all, what I want you to do is to give the entire team at Freedom Mexico Mexico a big hand for putting this event on. Work on those. Okay, what we're going to do is get the gift for everybody in the room. We need about 2 minutes. So what I want you to do is just discuss so far what I've talked about. Do you think I'm crazy? Does it make some sense? Whatever you want to talk about with one other person. It's not a pee break. It's not to check your phone. It's really important you participate and talk to somebody else. Because what it might allow you to do is get a different perspective. Okay? So 2 minutes, just talk amongst 1 or 2 of you around you, and then we're going to reconvene and we're going to get a gift for everybody. I'm going to give you your silver back. Okay? Please discuss. Thank you.
Roberto, no. Hola.
Y ellos le dan eso, localmente no saben cómo manejar lo mismo.
Generar dinero a costa de, no de mi dinero, sino de otro dinero, una inversión. A ellos les cayó del cielo, el papá se los dejó, el papá se los dejó, yo ya me voy, y está cerca. Ellos así se lo acaban de Este libro lo releí desde los debates siempre es necesario. Tienes que estudiar, ser alguien de la vida, por esto, por esto, por esto.
Usted compró el juego ese que habla en el
No,
sí, lo estoy mencionando.
no es necesario cuando tengas la tercera empresarial. Imagínate, empresarial. Cuando pienses como empresario, esto va a generar dinero. Pero no crecer no puede ser. Tienes una barrota, tienes que hacerlo con el
Big gift is here. What we're going to do, because you guys took action, came here, we're going to reward you. We're going to do something very, very nice. Mucho nice. We're going to give everybody here $100,000 US each. It'll be coming in any second. We'll deliver it. Now, each and every one of you is now a professional investor. You've got $100,000 to do whatever you want with it. Now, what would most people do in society with $100,000? Most would. You wouldn't, but they would. Okay, now, if we go back to the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, most people in the world come from the poor dad way to think. And when it comes to the poor dad way to think, what are we taught to do with our money? Save. That's one. Save. Invest. Save and invest for the long run. The banks always say, invest for the long run. They never say when the long run is here, because they want your money in their bank forever. Because they make so much money on your money. But most people, let's just start with saving. Most people are going to save their money. So if you take your $100,000 today, you go down to any Mexican bank and say, I've got $100,000, I want to save it, what kind of a return will the bank give to you? Is it 3?
El
Cero, pues.
3,
Cero.
3.
Zero. Okay. For education purposes, okay, they're not going to give you 6. When you save your money, it's a very low rate. But for education purposes today, we're going to just use an example of 3. Please. Okay? 3%. Fair? So today, you give the bank $100,000. 1 year later, because you have to keep the money in the bank for at least 1 year, they give you $3,000 in interest.
Genera.
Okay? That's after 12 months. Now, do you get to keep all this 3,000?
No.
Who takes some of it? Government. Taxes. They're going to take away 1. Okay? Tax. 35%. So you had $100,000 a year ago, and today you have 102. Wow, you're getting rich. Now today, this pen is 10 pesos. But in 12 months, this pen is now 11 pesos. Because of the word inflation. Inflation. By the way, I love inflation. I love inflation so much. Because when you have 5,000 properties, the higher they go, the better. But if you only have, like Asa, 1, it doesn't matter. Anyway. So this pen is now 11 pesos. As an example. What really is the inflation rate in Mexico? 4, I guess 6. Now, more importantly, who tells us what the inflation rate is? Who gives us the information? Central bank, which is basically the government. So the government tells us inflation is 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it is. How many people don't believe everything the government tells you? So again, this is just my opinion. They keep inflation low on purpose. Because when all the federal government workers need a raise, they want to keep inflation low, so they give less of a raise. When the teachers negotiate, they want to keep inflation low. When the seniors' pensions are indexed to inflation, they want to keep it low. So whether it's 4% or 6%, in Mexico, in Canada, the United States, I think all the governments lie to us. It's my opinion. So regardless, let's say inflation is 5%. Just education. $100,000 today, 12 months later, you get 102 after tax. But if inflation was 6%, you're now down to $96,000. A year ago you had 100, today you have 96. And they tell you should save your money. You can't get rich. You can't even get ahead. You're losing money. Now, should everybody have some money in savings? Yes. Is it a strategy to get wealthy? I don't think so. Okay? 3%. Now, let's go back to Ken McElroy. Let's say when I first met you, before I said anything, I said, I'm going to show you how to get a 13% return. 13. What would most of you say? Right? You're crazy? Is it drugs? Okay, Ponzi scheme? Because what we're taught is the higher the return, the higher the risk. I say risk is bad. Risk. The higher the risk. So this must be very risky. It's a very high return. That's what your context is telling you. Mine does not say that. mine says, what's his track record? Has he done it before? So Ken has been getting myself and my investors 13% for years. Never, ever has lost money for his investors, ever. Now, the problem is, if you want to invest with Ken, you need at least $250,000 to invest. That's the minimum. But if he allowed you to invest $100,000, how many people with your $100,000 we're going to give you would say, Ken's good enough? Here, Ken. How many? Ken? You invest in Ken? Yes. See? Of course. Great track record. And I don't believe it's the opposite. I don't believe this is risky. He's done it. 50 buildings he's bought with his partners. Does he still make mistakes? Absolutely. But they're small. And with the mistake he makes today, he gets smarter for the next one. And then smarter and smarter. So your returns can actually go up. So the banks, society teaches us that the lower the return, the lower the risk. Well, when your return was 3%, you lost money. To me, that's really, really risky. But most people go, oh, that's too high. This is the way I think. Well, I'll do this. This is pretty much the only thing I remember. Infinito. How can I do everything with nothing? How did I buy 4,000 properties? With none of my money. So my return is better than 13. Much better than 3. So it's just context. That's all it is. So let's go down another path. We have $100,000 to invest. The banks could say invest for the long run in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. I'm going to show you later how that's not going to work either. The deck is stacked against you. And here's why. The banks make so much money. They're the most profitable industry in the entire world. They make billions and billions of dollars every quarter. They make so much money, it's unbelievable. If you want to get a mortgage in Mexico, how much do the banks charge approximately? 10 or 15? Car loan, what's a car loan cost? 15 for car loan? Credit card debt? 40.
35?
Okay, so they want you to give them your money because they're going to be very generous and pay you 3. Right. And let's say they lend it out at 12. So they give you 3, they lend it out at 12. What return does the bank make?
9.
Who said 9? No? Okay, 400%. 3, 6, 9, 12. Double, double, double. You see? So net it's 300%. 300%. And they're telling you should be happy with 3. And for every dollar you give them, there's something called fractional reserve banking. Your dollar, you can lend it out 10 times at this rate. So really, this is 3,000. How else can they make all this money? They make billions and billions of dollars because we're not educated. It's unbelievable. My blood pressure gets high. I don't like banks. Now, when I go by apartment buildings, then I smile and I pretend I like them because they give me mortgages. But overall, I don't like the philosophy of banks. When an entrepreneur really needs money, they don't lend you money unless you put up at least your house, your own house. And if your business doesn't do very well, they will take your house. Right? How many people have ever had a bank say no? No. You don't qualify for a loan, right? No. What? So I'm going to show you today how to be your own bank. Learn how to do it yourself. Raise capital on your own. Help other people in your community. I'll show you how to do this. So, this is important. All I care today is if you leave with a larger context. Now, let's go over one more concept. Robert Kiyosaki, I think, is very good at taking complicated philosophies when it comes to money and making them really simple. So one of the things I like about Robert is he talks about simplicity when it comes to being rich. When I was younger, I didn't know how much money I needed. What does rich mean? It's different to everybody. Is it $1 million? Is it 5? I don't know. So what we focus on is something called passive income. Another word for passive income is money you make while you sleep. And what you need to do is I'm going to give you an exercise to go home and add up all the different passive income you have. And when this number is bigger than your expenses, then you're rich. So you're going to add up all your expenses. House payments, gasoline, car payments, kids, entertainment, all your expenses. But when you have more money that comes in while you're sleeping than you spend, you're rich. In the cash flow game, that's how you win the game. When you have more passive income than expenses. So my passive income comes from properties, some. Can we show the Bay Harbor property, please? This property we bought 10 years ago. Okay, so for almost $6 million in 2009. What happened to the world in 2008 and 9? Financial crisis. It crashed. The Canadian stock market went from 15,000 points to 7 in a few months. And virtually every stock market in the world had the same loss. It was terrible times. Millions of people lost their businesses. The bank stopped lending money. It was really, really bad. Really bad. If you're old enough to remember, it was bad. But because I was learning, I saw a huge opportunity. Back then, the Canadian dollar was $1.10 to 1 US. So if this cost 1 US dollar, I only had to pay 90 cents Canadian to buy it. Our dollar was stronger than the US. When we sold this property, we sold it last October, I think, for $16 million. And now the Canadian dollar is 65 cents to 1 US. So when we sell, I get US dollars, and for every US dollar, I get $1.35. Now some of you right now are thinking, what the hell is he talking about? That's okay. Because that is your context. When I would talk to Ken or Robert or the advisors, we just, you understand exactly, because we know. And if you don't know, that's okay. Today, I think, for many of you, could be the first day of a new life. Doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow, or maybe even next year. But it means you can start to think differently, and start to study, and put effort into money. And the more, in my experience, the more effort you put into it, the more money comes to your life. So I'm just trying to share with you how to create passive income and opportunities. Did you hear that noise? It was a cha-ching. It was passive income. I couldn't have asked for a better time. I have a coffee company, Black Rifle Coffee, and it's in Canada. I don't live in Canada. And all the sales are online. So every time somebody buys coffee, it goes cha-ching. Today, $3,050 just in coffee. Passive income. I love coffee. Okay, so passive income. You can create it through millions of different ways. It could be real estate, could be a business, investments. So there's two types of income when it comes to investments as well. So I'm going to talk about those here for a second. And I really encourage you to calculate this ratio. In fact, I'm going to go over one more thing before I turn this flip chart. What I would like you all to do is think about how much money can you save every single day for the next year. Come back in 1 year to this event, and you're going to see how much did you save. Because some of you right now have zero. And the reason is because you don't have any savings. Now, we already talked about saving as a strategy. It doesn't work. But what I want you to do is to save so you can start to invest. If you keep with some of your bad habits of spending everything you have, you'll never have money when you see a deal. We're going to talk about that in a second. So what I'd like you to do is determine whatever amount you can save every day. If it's 10 pesos, good. If it's one, that's fine too. Next to your bed, on your table, every night, put your savings so you can see it. So one day is 10 pesos, then the next day is another. And then after the end of 10 days, you've got a real stack of money. You've got to do another stack. And after a couple months, you take that money, you go to the bank. You open up a savings account only for passive income deals. More than anything, it's a discipline. You have to be determined to save that little bit of money every single day until you have enough you can actually invest. $500,000. Okay? So get in the habit of doing that. And instead of buying Starbucks, make your own coffee at home. Okay? Make your lunch at home. Don't buy it out. There's lots of ways we can all save 10 pesos. Save more if you can. But after 1 year, you'll be surprised how much money you have. And between today and 12 months from now, you're also going to read different books, go to different seminars, go online, and there's millions of free resources. Robert Kiyosaki has lots of videos online for free, or YouTube. Okay? So in the next year, I don't want you to necessarily invest this money if you don't have any. Start to educate. Because to me, I think I said earlier, the only thing risky is not having education. Okay? So at Freedom Investment Club, we have two missions. First and foremost, we provide education. That's what we want to do. Free. Second of all, we also provide investment opportunities. If you're interested in looking at them, you can. Because deal flow is really important. Most people never look at other deals. Deal flow. How many deals do you look at that are available to you to invest your money? Well, honestly, I look at in a year, easily 500 a year. Easily. Some of them I can look at it for 2 minutes and say no. Others I do a lot of research. And an entire year, I might invest in 3 different things. So out of 500 deals, I'll invest in 3. So do you want to show Royal Caribbean? Yesterday we met with a gentleman, I can't provide his name, very large company, 4,000 employees, and he wants us to raise money for him. Businesses need cash. Banks are not always your friend. When the financial crisis happened in 2008, this company, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, a $10 billion company, they called me. And they said, you guys are really good at raising money. We need money. The bank stopped giving us money, and we're building the world's largest cruise ship terminal in Jamaica. This was 2009. You can see that we gave money in 2011. $12 million US. The reason it was 2 years later, it took that long for them to do research on us. Criminal background checks. They came up to Canada. They interviewed our attorneys, our accountants. We used Deloitte. They came to our events. They wanted to make sure that we were good partners. So when Royal Caribbean phones you, you know you're onto something good. Okay? $10 billion company. Now the challenge is, they're not going to phone you, probably. They don't want 100,000. They want one check for 12 million. So what kind of deals are you looking at? That's really important. And I'm going to show you near the end of my talk, the deals most of you get, they're shit. They're terrible. They only make the banks money. Okay, so my challenge to you is this year, go look at different deals. Go learn. How many people right now have a deal that I could invest in if you could show it to me? How many of you have a deal? Okay, look around when the hands go up. How many people have deals? Look around. Deal, okay? Good. Good. And if you saw somebody's hand go up, you should talk to that person. Have a lunch, have a coffee. Because you're going to learn. Every deal you look at, the context gets bigger. But if you don't have any money, be honest. Tell the person, listen, I don't have any money, but I'd love to learn. I'll buy you coffee. Go look at deals. Unfortunately, what I see are people that look at one deal and then put all their money in, and then they lose all their money, and then they say it's risky. Because it looks really good when your context is people. Okay, so go look at 5 or 10 different deals. Today, Spencer's going to show you a very small example of one of our deals, just to give you an idea of things you should consider, things you should look at. Now, of the deals, there's 2 different ways to make income. And when Robert was in Edmonton a couple years ago, he said to the crowd, he likes to put most of his investment money into cash flow deals. Alvaro, let's go back to the other apartment building, please. So this one we bought, it's just outside of Houston, it's called Bay Harbor. I have never seen this property. Never been there. Why? Well, my context says I don't need to go. I'm lazy. I'll send my team. My team goes. Then they can report to me. So I've never been there. But when we bought it, it was actually paying us profits right away. So we gave a check for almost $6 million. Now, the bank gave us a very large mortgage. But really, who pays the mortgage every month? Who pays that mortgage off? Renters? Tenants. Yep. Okay? So, the renters would pay all their rent, and we would take some of that to pay the bank, their mortgage. We would pay the property manager, maintenance and repairs, landscaping, taxes, and there'd be a little bit left over. This would go to the investors, okay? My investors. That's called cash flow. It was immediate, like within 3 months, maybe 6. So if you don't have any passive income, you probably want to focus on deals that give you cash flow. Let's go back to the cruise ships, please, Alvaro. This deal was something different. It was called capital gain. When they called us, they only had the land. They had to build the shopping centers. Can you go to the next picture? those red, the ones with the red roofs. Okay, that real estate between the two ships, those all stores and restaurants. And the one ship on your right, that's the largest ship in the world, 6,000 passengers. And the average passenger, when they get off of a ship, they walk through our shopping centers. Our investors own the shopping centers. And the average person spends $60. And we had about 800,000 people every year go through that. Now, when we gave the $12 million to RCL, it took 2 years to get any cash because they had to build it. Make sense? So it's still good, but that's called a capital gain. You're giving them capital and hoping the value goes up. It was 40, now it's 60. Did very good. Now we get cash flow, but it was a couple of years delayed. So Robert said in Edmonton, he puts 90% of his money into cash flow. So it doesn't mean you should. I'm just showing you the difference. But obviously, in my opinion, if you don't have the passive income, you probably want to get it from cash flow. Am I making sense today?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
All right. Take 90 seconds, discuss what you learned, and we're going to reconvene. I'll do two more flip charts. Okay, 90 seconds, please discuss this. Okay, so when it comes to things you need to do, some of you might want to start saving every day. Start a savings account just for passive income deals in the future. You're going to also want to go look at different deals. Deal flow is really important. Stay tuned to our emails. We'll give you different opportunities on occasion. You're going to learn a lot. And don't be in a rush. I think one of the lessons I'd like to share with you when it comes to deals is the bigger and fancier the brochure, usually the worse the deal. Did that translate? It's all glossy and shiny and oh, this looks all great. It's like, be aware. Now, would anybody be interested in coming to Cabo San Lucas and hanging out for a couple of days? Yes. That was beautiful. So Spencer, a couple months ago, said, why don't we do a 2-day event in Cabo, and just for 40 people. And I've never, ever done a small event like that. Never. And he's very convincing. He's got so much energy. I just finally say yes to everything he asks. So I thought about the event. And I thought I could invite a lot of people, like very good friends and people I've done business with for years, mentors, and I will. But I really don't know who to invite because I don't know who's going to be there. And like even today, I don't know what I'm going to say. I just go with the flow of the audience. I just go with the energy. Now I have an idea of certain things I cover, but at all my events, I never ever have an agenda. Never. I just go with what is told to me. And Robert's very good at that. So in Cabo San Lucas, I thought the same thing. I can't do this, plan anything, because I don't really want. So after we sold this event once a number of months ago, I said, I can't do this anymore, because I don't want the wrong people to be there. And no disrespect. However, I don't want people to go if they have a very small context, because you won't learn as much. It'll be a lot of money that you probably won't maybe be happy spending. Because the event, Marianne, is $2,995. Okay? So it's $3,000. If you bring a spouse or business partner, the next person's $15,000. Okay? $1,500. So the only way you can go if you want is you have to discuss with Mariana. Is there a piece of paper they can fill out? Okay? So you'll fill this piece of paper out later when we give it to you, and then hand this in, and Mariana will get it. She's going to talk to her assistant, Alan. And Alan is going to call you and set up a Zoom call with me and Alan. Because I want people there that have businesses and real estate and experience. No offense, but school teachers are not allowed. Government workers are not allowed. You just don't fit in. No offense. Because after I get to talk to people, now I'm getting a really good idea what people want to learn. So now I'm inviting certain speakers, friends of mine, so everybody gets the most value. So it's not for everybody, but if you're interested in that, we will hand this out later. And when she gets it, she'll give Alan your information. He'll call you or email you, and we can set up a Zoom call. You can answer your questions. Did I miss anything?
Vengan a Cabo a disfrutar de un paraíso, a aprender de finanzas y de los mejores. Los invito a todos. Cabo is good.
That was good. All right. Thank you, Mariana. One more time. Okay. I'm going to get into another subject. And this is, again, the opposite of what banks teach. If you go down to the bank with your $100,000, they're going to typically tell you that you should diversify. Diversify. Don't have all your eggs in one basket, they say. Now, I'm not sure why, because yes, in 2008, when the world's economy crashed, virtually every stock market lost half its value. Okay, your phones need to be turned off. Mine can stay on. If anybody else's phone rings, it's 100 peso fine. Money goes to charity. Because it disrupts the room. 100 pesos. I'm the government. It's my room. Throws me off. So if you had a well-diversified portfolio, it still lost half its value. Warren Buffett does not invest in a well-diversified portfolio. He focuses on one company a year, maybe two, and buys them. He just put $10 billion into a large oil company. A few years ago, he bought one of Canada's largest railroads. So he focuses and focuses and focuses. He doesn't diversify. But banks will tell you to diversify. And I'll show you why. So what I want you to start to consider is there's more out there than just what banks offer you. Typically, banks are going to offer you what I would consider to be a paper asset. So I'm going to show you there's actually four asset classes, not just one. The bank only ever talks about this one, because this is how they make billions of dollars of profit. They never suggest you should do anything with your money outside of the bank. So they're going to suggest you buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and savings. Now, can you get rich doing that? Yes, you can. I don't know many people who have done it, but yes, you can. Second asset class, no particular order, would say business. Business is my favorite. It's also the most difficult. They don't teach business ownership in school either. Even a university degree in business was a waste of time. A waste of time. If you're in university now or in high school, just tell your parents you're quitting. Waste of time. Whose phone rang? Whose phone? Did you guys hear a phone? Be honest. Point them out. Whose is it? Okay, bring your money up, please. On her face. Rapido, rapido! Okay, give her a hand for participating. I don't have change. I'm going to give her a free book. Hold on. I've done this for many years. 1 out of 3 people don't pay, and I kick them out. Because people are so attached to this. So for somebody to be honest and pay, let's give her a big hand. That's why I gave her my book. Okay, turn your phones off. Okay, business. So the richest people in the world all own businesses. The richest people in the world. Every investment you've ever done was into a business, if you really think about it. So if you want more money, I would highly suggest you start a business. How many people in this room are full-time business owners, please? Okay. Great. That's a lot. Now, a lot of you are also going to need money to grow. So the Freedom Investment Club, if you join our program, Spencer will talk about it, you will get this today. And 2 years ago for Spencer, I did a 2-day event on how to raise capital. So you get a copy of that, and you can learn how to raise capital and be your own bank. Because unfortunately, most businesses, again, they go out of business because they don't know how to raise capital. They don't have enough money. So I want to give you just an example of what you could do if you have money. As I told you, this is a company called Black Rifle Coffee. It's a very big company in the United States. I own Canada. It's a multi-million dollar brand, and they gave me Canada for 0. Because my friends knew the owners and my track record. So right away I made money just by bringing this to Canada. Now, every bag of coffee costs about $5. That's my cost. I sell it online for 15. So it's a good margin. Okay? So let's just say that Lacomer or Cheddarawi phone me and say, we want to buy 50,000 bags. I would say, perfecto. But most people don't have the money because I can't buy the coffee unless I have $250,000. That's my cost. Most businesses don't have $250,000. So, how many of you would want to lend me the $100,000 or $100,000 if we could do a partnership in coffee business? And I will pay you Now, some people think, well, that's crazy. You can't do that. Yeah, I can. I bought it for 5. I'll sell it to them for 10. You get a discount. I make 100% return in like a month. So of course I wouldn't pay you this much, but I could. So here's my question for you. If you have money, maybe you should consider investing in other businesses in Mexico, just like my example. Because I think Canada, Mexico, our economies could do a whole lot better if we would just help each other. And I've invested in a few entrepreneurs in Mexico, I gave them cash. I would rather invest in somebody in this room, you know, I'm going to do my due diligence, that has a good track record, they work hard, and there's good profitability in it. I'd rather help out you than give my money to a bank any day of the week. Like any day of the week. Okay? So my question, do you own a business? Or what I now do is I give business owners cash, and I might own 10 or 20% of it. So I'll buy a little bit of it. Because I think you can make a whole lot money better here than saving your money. But most of us don't think this way. And this can help your own community. This can help Mexico City. Entrepreneurs that have more money to grow can hire more people. We can have a higher standard of living. It's a win for everybody. So I'm just saying, think different. Maybe you have lunch with somebody that's looking for money and look at their deal. And the people that need money, if you don't have enough, you need to learn. Just learn. Start asking and knowing how to ask for people to give you money. There's so much money available, but most people never ask. So that's one asset class I would want you to consider having some money into. The next one is real estate. Again, I own a lot of real estate, but I don't like real estate. I don't like managing properties. I haven't done it for many, many years. What I do is I like to build businesses that give me cash flow. I take that cash and put it to real estate. And then it also will give me more cash flow, and then I finally put it into the fourth asset class, commodities. Primarily, I invest in silver and oil. Gold is a commodity, coffee is a commodity, actually. So the reason I like commodities, and particularly silver and gold, is when this happened in 2008. The world was very shaky economically. And when the world is risky economically, silver and gold prices went very, very high. Okay? Silver was up to, I think, $50. Today it's $15. So for me, commodities is insurance. And if you're in Mexico, most of you are going to be aware of what happened in 1994. You woke up one day, and this so-called money, the 500 became 50. It just took away a zero. Overnight. This is just silver or gold wouldn't matter. Rich people are diversified. Poor people have paper. The poor people have nothing, so it doesn't matter. But the middle class is the one that got affected the most. Could there be another Mexican peso crisis?
Yeah.
Of course. There's going to be. There might be a US dollar crisis first. Because they're printing so much money. There's so much debt in this world. It's sad. So I wouldn't want to have all my money in paper. That's what I'm trying to get at. Basically, it's trying to what I'm saying. Is, are you truly diversified? Okay. So, think about that for a few minutes. I'm going to go over one more flip chart, sorry, and then I'll Spencer come on. How we doing for time? We're all good? Yeah. On each one? Okay, good question. She said, what is the percentage that I do in each? First of all, it's totally up to you. It's what you want to do. There's no right answer. For me, it's like 0. Probably 60, 30, and 10. Just off the top of my head. Okay. But there's no right answer. Andy Tanner is a rich dad advisor, and he focuses on paper. Okay. So there's no right answer. I'm just trying to give you some information, and you can determine what you need to do is best for you. Okay. And you can make money in any of them. Good question. Okay. Let me go over the last piece. Now, because I live very close to the ocean, I'm going to give you an analogy. When it comes to money and paper assets, most people in the world, they work really hard, they save their money, invest in the long run, but they're not rich. In fact, I've asked this question to hundreds of thousands of people. I forgot to ask it this morning, but do you know anybody who all they did was they had a job and worked really hard, saved their money, and invested for the long run, and today they are rich? Is that sad? Very risky. So I'll show you why. And I'm going to use the analogy of a food chain, the investment food chain. I'm going to start from here and go down and show you why most people will never retire rich if you invest with the banks. But if you want to be at the top of the food chain, I'll show you this is how to do it. Now, the food chain. In the wild, the top of the food chain, because I live in Cabo, you have whales and sharks. On the bottom, you have plankton. Recently, we had thousands of whales. Every morning, I would drop my daughter off at school and go watch the whales. Loved it. It was unbelievable. They're just so close. And then a couple months ago, I drove to La Paz and I went swimming with sharks. Whale sharks. Whale sharks are literally the size of the stage, and they luckily do not eat people. They have really big mouths, and when you jump in the water, I couldn't believe it. It's little pieces like of shrimp almost, like little pieces of plankton. And the whale just opens his mouth and sucks it through the gills, and it grows very big. So when it comes to the food chain with money, the banks are at the top of the food chain. And you guys are plankton. So I'm going to show you how not to be plankton. If you want to be rich, you want to have more money, the top of the food chain, you need to be an entrepreneur. Basically, you're going to have a business or real estate. Now, how many people have a business that has at least 25 employees? You own the business. Okay, what kind of business, please?
Yep.
What kind?
It's maintenance.
Maintenance? How many employees?
55.
55. Your first name?
Arturo.
Arturo. Could you use an extra $100,000 or more to grow your business?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to use Arturo as an example. He is the top of the food chain. He is the entrepreneur. Arturo just mentioned he's looking for investors. Arturo, if I invest with you, is 10% okay for me?
Yeah.
Yep. Now the reason I use this number is over the years when I ask people to invest, I say, what kind of return do you want? And nobody's ever said more than 10. Never. So just because I make 100 doesn't mean I'm going to give you 50. I always ask the question, what kind of return would you like? I like 10%. I think I can do that. Right. Arturo, one more question. If I invest with you, will you promise me that you pay me first my interest and my money before you make profits? So you have to pay me first.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's good. Okay. Guess what the banks do? They always get paid first. Always. So Arturo is going to do the opposite. The opposite. Back to the profit slide, please. The reason we made this list of fast-growing companies was when we raised money, our number one philosophy always was, our partners, were you investing? They have to pay you first before they make money. The exact opposite of banks. And our company grew and grew and grew. So this is the best place to be, in my opinion, if you want to create wealth. Either be the entrepreneur, like Arturo, or you could be the investor, like me. I would ask for more. But the key is, there's nobody in the middle taking away all your fees and profits. And Arturo makes this return. The infinite. He's using my money. But he's going to work really hard. I'd rather invest with him because I get to know his cell number. I can meet him for coffee. Your banks don't do that. So here's what the banks will do. They will offer you, if you're a very, very, very good client, they might call you for an IPO. IPO stands for Initial Public Offering, when a company goes on the stock market. Last week, there was a company that went public. I forgot the name. It was a program, it was a product that was like vegetable meat. Instead of meat, it was vegetables.
Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat. Who said Beyond Meat? Okay, thank you. Beyond Meat. So, Beyond Meat went public. And in one day, more than doubled. So if you invested $45, you could have sold it for $100. Something like that. Did anybody here get a call to invest in Beyond Meat?
I bought it the second day.
Sorry?
I bought it the second day.
Yeah, we didn't get a call the first day. First day was 45, the second day was 100. Now, this is an example. The point I'm trying to make is, why don't we get phone calls? To at least look at it. I'm not saying they're all good. Did you get a phone call to invest in Facebook, Amazon, etc.? When they go public, they also charge hundreds of millions of dollars in fees. The bank makes a lot of money with IPOs. Then the banks might offer you something called a bond. And of course, they charge commissions on bonds. Then they're going to offer some of their clients something called preferred returns, PREP. Then there is a common share. And every way down the line, they take up more fees and more profits and more fees. And eventually, when you go to the bank with your $100,000, the banker will say, you should really invest in a well-diversified portfolio of mutual funds. So mutuals are down here. And over the long run, you might get 7%. And all mutual funds are a bunch of common shares. That's all it is. They charge you fees to buy this. With mutual funds, it's unbelievable. If you put $100,000 in mutual funds, on average in Mexico, they're going to charge you 2% every year just to manage your mutual fund. And the market goes down, they still charge you 2%. To me, that should be against the law. Most people don't read the details. So as I just said, it's almost unheard of to get rich if you do mutual funds, or they might convince you to, save your money. 3%. It doesn't work. And the best deals you never hear of. So, I think I've really depressed you all. I can feel the love in the room. I apologize. But am I wrong? So what you need to do is, okay, maybe you start your own business. Now, there's a whole bunch of friends here in network marketing. If you don't have a business, the reason I said earlier, it's hard, because it is. There's a million different pieces you're juggling. We got 50 employees at Arturo, it's like you got 50 headaches. Sometimes it's like a daycare. It's not easy. How many people are in network marketing, one form or another? Network marketing, hands up. Hands up. Okay. So look around. And if you don't have a business, you may want to sit down with one of these people and ask them what they do. So what network marketing allows you to do is really just to focus on sales and not all the other pieces of the business. Okay? So I'm not recommending one or the other. I have some friends here. But what I'm suggesting you should look for is mentorship first. Whatever company you join, make sure the person who's going to help you mentor you. That would be, for me, the most important thing. So anyway, this is the investment food chain. This is the 4 asset classes. I think I'm pretty much done. I'm hoping your context's bigger. I'm going to have Spencer come up in a second. Do you feel like you learned something today?
Yes.
Did you get your money's worth? Spencer Hoffman, Mr. Energy, you're drinking coffee?
No coffee for me.
No coffee. Come on up. It's a good crowd. I kind of depressed him in the end. But
Why?
I showed him this.
Oh, okay. Hair loss for king. That's the lawyers.
They cannot keep the program if they don't have enough cash flow. It's just unbelievable how many good deals are out there. This company's been around for over 30 years, and they're making short money. So that's the types of people that call us and say, hey, could you raise money? And it's a win-win. You guys get our due diligence, our experience, you get better returns than the banks are ever going to give you, and you learn a lot. We're fully transparent. So after Spencer shows you an example of one of our deals, I will guarantee you that most of you will know more about our deal than you know about your own in 20 minutes. So in exiting here, all I really hope is you put effort into studying, and I hope you study with us at the Freedom Investment Co. Mexico. And thank you very much for coming out.
Pueden compartir un par de cosas. ¿Van a aprender lo valioso, sí o no?
Sí.